Another week, another boot sale, and another overpriced Wii. This time, this one didn't even have any controllers. I mean, how can you come to a boot sale with a Wii and a game and all the wires, but not have any of the controllers, and then still try and charge 30 quid? Some people are a little bit unhinged, I think, when it comes to their items. And then they look at you a little bit crazy because you weren't willing to either pay the 30 or to maybe try and haggle down to like 25 or something. This thing is worth about 20 quid on a good day if it's complete and in good condition and working. It's not worth 30 quid without the controllers and with one game. That brings me to the very next thing that I saw, which was an original PlayStation console with the controller that didn't have the analogs. Of course, this is the basic PlayStation 1 controller. Now, the console itself looked okay. I mean, obviously the wires were sort of wrapped up. It looked like it would probably work, but I mean, looks can be deceiving. It was a little bit yellowed. He wanted 20 quid, which, to be fair, if you're looking to pick this up and put it into your collection, 20 quid is fine. It's not a bad price. If anything, that could actually be a decent price. It's probably on par with what eBay prices are. In CEX, this would cost you £32, but of course you're paying for a warranty there as well, and most people will use credit against this stuff, so that's how they can charge a little bit more and get away with it. I had the cash in the series, of course, to buy this. We have a decent amount of cash to play with. Do I need a PlayStation 1 console? Absolutely not, because the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, which we don't currently have, but still, and I believe that even the PS5 plays PS1 games. I might be wrong on the PlayStation 5, but I know the PlayStation 2 does, so I don't need them. And I also don't even collect them. I think I have like 2 in my collection right now, so I don't need it. Could I have flipped it for a profit? No. So it's nice to see it in a boot sale, but for me, unfortunately, wasn't worth picking up. So now we're going to move on to something that's sold. We don't really need to be adding cash into this series, but it's happened, so I'm going to. And I do want to explain how I do things, because some people do get confused with the profit that we're making in this series. So when I buy an item, and as an example, in this instance, what has sold is the Exeter City football shirt, the training top. I bought that at a charity shop quite a while ago now, and it cost me a £5. I actually thought I'd get like 20-25 for it because it's very rare, but apparently there's only 4 Exeter City fans, one more than there are Man City, but still, no one really wanted this. So when I got an offer of 12, I decided, you know what, it's a £7 profit, I'm gonna take it. Because you may or may not know now, eBay don't charge fees for secondhand clothes. They're basically trying to compete with Vinted, because Vinted have grabbed an awful lot of customers from eBay because it's so easy to just list things and you get to keep 100% of it. With that being said though, we get to keep 100% of the profit. So when I originally bought this shirt, I took the £5 off the balance, meaning now that the £12 that we're going to get for this, I'm just going to put back on the balance because I've already deducted what I've paid. It's just a lot easier for me to do it the way that I'm doing it. So 12 quid, not amazing, but I've made £7 profit. And if you do that, you know, 10 times, that's 70 quid. That's a brand new game, right? Speaking of brand new games, not something I'm really looking at playing at the moment. There are 2 factors in this. First of which, the video I put out most recently, in my opinion, that is the best video I have on my channel. I have watched that back 8, 9, 10 times at this point, and every time I watch it, I'm actually very proud of it. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. Even if you're not going to listen to it, it would really mean a lot to me if that could get a decent amount of views, and I'd love to continue to make those. So while we have a little look around the Cardiff CEX for Xbox 360 promotional copies, and just to see what they have knocking about the place, really see if there's anything worth picking up, let me touch upon the second point. So Road Rash retrospective review, really enjoyed doing it, and I loved playing it again, sort of to get a feel of it, to be able to make the video, right? So the other thing is, of course, as you know, the other unsuccessful video series that I currently have is me learning how to develop video games, and I would argue that it's going reasonably well. I am very, very close to finishing my first project, if you will, which is basically just a 1-level medieval type game, a 2D platformer. Really enjoying it. And I will update people on when that is ready to go, and you can download it. It'll be free and everything. It's not amazing by any stretch, but it's the first thing I've ever coded from start to finish myself. So I'm very proud of it. But the one thing that I am really enjoying right now is just the simplicity of what that game is, and it's the exact same thing for when I played Road Rash. Now, when I played Road Rash, that wasn't the only Mega Drive game that I put into the console. I put in a couple of the others that I had that I sort of looked at and thought, do you know what, while I'm here, while I'm playing the Mega Drive, while I've sort of dedicated time to sort of put aside, if you will, to play this game, sort of as research for the video, I might as well play a couple of others. And I got a little bit sucked into it, and I started playing quite a few. And there's about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 games I gave, I don't know, at least an hour to over the course of a week, maybe more. And I really enjoyed playing those games. And even though I do really enjoy playing the current gen, you know, the PlayStation 5 when it comes to Hell Let Loose and a few of the other games that I'm sort of limboing through. The game Limbo, I think that's where the word came from. But yeah, the other games that I'm sort of bouncing around, I'm really enjoying them, sure, but I don't enjoy them anywhere near as much as I do the older games. And that's kind of changing my mindset about not just video games in general really, but where this series is going and what I'm trying to achieve here. And I know a lot of you will have just twigged, oh, I know what he's about to do, I know what he's about to say, and I'm not 100% on it yet, although I am very much leaning towards, I don't know if me building the credit to pick up this Series X is actually what I want to do anymore. Oh my god, I cannot believe this guy. This guy is an absolute div of epic proportion. But as I walk over here, I get so much more excited the further back I go when it comes to video games. So yeah, I'm looking at the N64 and the Dreamcast and the Sega Master System and the Mega Drive, and I get so much enjoyment from just looking at this stuff, let alone picking up and playing it. 360 is kind of the same because it's a lot older, and I do have really fond memories of playing those games and picking those up. And I remember me picking up most of them and buying them and what I traded to get them and where I was when I bought them and that kind of thing. I do still really enjoy playing the PlayStation 5, and I'm sure I would still really enjoy playing the Series X. And the whole point of me trying to build the credit to buy the Series X was because the games are much, much cheaper on this platform and I want a physical collection, it makes so much more sense to be buying a Series X. Being able to play backward compatible games, being able to buy Xbox One games, Series X games, and they're all really affordable. And it still, in my mind, makes perfect sense. But there are a few things that I'm questioning. I get so much more enjoyment from playing Xbox 360 and Mega Drive games than I ever do playing modern day games. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy modern day games. I've put well over 100 hours into Hell Let Loose in a quite a short space of time. And even yesterday I actually jumped on Sifu again because A, I really enjoy that game, and B, because I watched Bill Skarsgård's latest film.
Player 2 is fucking crazy.
Really, really good film. Really enjoyed that. So there is still going to be a place for me to go and want to play on the PS5, but me going and dropping 300 plus on a Series X all of a sudden doesn't seem like a good idea anymore. And I know I change my mind like the wind, and I'm pretty sure most of you saw this coming at some point, because if I don't execute something almost immediately, I will change direction. So I'm gonna just think it over just to see if it is something that I really want to pursue. But there are a lot of games on the Xbox 360 and on the Mega Drive that I want that I don't own. Some people are pointing out in the comments, not all the time, but every now and again in one of these videos, someone will say, look, and I am paraphrasing a bit here, but this is the gist. We're going to get closer to this refresh. Chances are people will be trying to sell up their pre-existing consoles, especially those who have Series X's who don't collect physical, because it's not just a given that if you own a Series X, you own it because you collect physical. That means the price might come down. Now, I had the opposite thought originally, that the price would probably go up because it's going to be the only console that you can actually play discs on. People do make a good point there by saying, yes, that is a decent theory. However, I'm sure there's far more people who own these Series X's that don't have any intention of ever playing physical games, but they own them because it's the only one available. There wasn't a digital Series X. So in that dip is probably the time to buy it. Now, we could use cash, because by the time that rolls around, we might have built up even more cash. And if that is the plan, I could make it my priority to keep the cash, build it up, only use credit to buy games, and then we can go and use cash to buy one secondhand on Facebook, which actually does make an awful lot of sense to me. So I think that could be the plan, because I do still want one, and I do still want to build out a cheap Series X and Xbox One collection, but I am just far more invested now that I've been dedicating more time to the Mega Drive, and I've been building sort of 2D platformers and all old type games, and those are the platforms, Mega Drive and 360, that I really want to play right now. And not that any of you care, but the other part of it is going to be more research than anything else. Going through old Mega Drive games that I've played to sort of relearn certain mechanics that I can add into my 2D platformers is one thing, but going and playing games that I've never played to discover mechanics that I never knew existed and how they work is something that I'm doing a lot more. So for example, Olympic Gold. I wanted to create this video game that doesn't exist, that I would absolutely love playing, and I'm sure there are at least 7 other people in the world who would enjoy playing it as well. Now I needed to know how certain things worked and how certain video games dealt with the issues that I'm currently facing in trying to work out how it would work, and Olympic Gold would cross off a few of them, so I've been playing that game. And it's research. Yes, I'm enjoying myself, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that game, but it's research on how certain mechanics work, how they could have done something a little bit better, things I like, things I don't like, and things I would like to essentially steal and put into my game that I'm going to have to try and work out how they did it and then put it into my game. And that's just one. You know, there are a whole plethora of other Sega Mega Drive games out there that I will need to pick up and play, so I would like to go and use the credit, I think, to go and buy the 360 games that I've wanted for a while, and some of the Mega Drive games that I've really wanted to play for a while as well. I'm going to think about that just a little bit more, and in the next episode, maybe I'll have a decision, and then we may not go on a spending spree, because I just want to go into CEX and just spend all of the credit, but I might go to CEX and maybe look to pick up 1 or 2 games that I've had my eye on for a while that I didn't think I'd be able to afford anytime soon, and I'll use credit to buy them. Will I regret this going forward? Maybe, but at the same time, it's rectifiable. Is that a word? I can rectify the situation. So if I go and spend £100 of the credit, or even all of the credit, I've built that up in the first place, so I'm going to be able to build it up again. Yes, it's going to take time, and yes, it's slowed down quite considerably recently because I'm just not finding that many things, if I'm honest, but it's going to be something I can do. I can build it back up again. And we have a decent amount of cash in the series right now that if I do decide that I want to go get a Series X, I'll just bite the bullet and I'll go use the cash. And that's what I think I'm going to do closer to the release of the refresh of the Series X, because it just makes more sense. Back in the boot sale I go, and my wife actually spotted this. I didn't see it initially. This is an Xbox 360 that looks like it's seen better days. The top is missing and whatever else in the middle. Someone's cut a hole in the fan. Anyway, this is actually the subscriber that I talk about all the time. So much so, I'm actually tempted to ask him to move into my spare room. So, he had Shaq Fu. Now, I didn't want to pay the price that he had up there. I'm sure I could have negotiated a little bit, but the one thing that I wasn't happy about really is the sun fading on the spine, and that's kind of why I didn't really make an offer. So I'm going through some of his 360 games, and I'm looking for, you guessed it, promo copies. I'm looking for some things that, I'm explaining what a promo copy is. I'm going through some things that, or some of the games in my mind that maybe I would want to pick up. He's having a look at some PS2 stuff there. And he's got some Wii things. So we're having a little chat about, you know, what he's collecting right now, what he's looking for, what I'm collecting and things. And I spot something that is, I mean, this is just, I mean, that takes me back, right? How many of you are old enough to remember what the hell this is? I'm sure many of you actually, because a lot of my subscribers are my age. But I was very tempted to make an offer on this. But in my experience, these things are so temperamental, they just do not work half the time, so I kind of just left that alone. Then I spotted something that I know can go for a little bit of money, and I've had a few inquiries already because I did buy it. This is a Bubba Gump shrimp hat. Now, I wasn't actually going to throw this into the series at all, but I might as well because I picked it up from this stall. Now, this cost me £2. This is worth 400, I'm joking, it's worth about a tenner. I go to Florida as often as I possibly can, once every 10 years, and the shop, the Bubba Gump shop, which of course is from the film Forrest Gump, which is written on the back of the hat there, is massive. I mean, it is so popular. People don't necessarily go in there and eat, they just go in, they take pictures, they go and buy things from the gift shop, and this is one of the things you can buy from the gift shop. I saw that for £2. Well, I said how much, he was like, oh, whatever, a couple of quid. He just didn't seem that bothered at all. And I gave him a couple of quid, and there we are. Now, I've put it up straight away because I don't wear hats, they don't suit me, and I put it up for a tenner. I'm not looking to make a huge amount of money on it, I just like to pick some things up like this because it interests me. So I will take £2 off because that's how we work. And when this eventually sells, which I actually think it will by the end of the week if I'm honest, because there are so many people favoriting this right now, I will add the profit on. But then this guy went above and beyond and did something that I never expected and something that I actually told him not to do several times. So as I ask him how much this Bubba Gump hat is, and he tells me that he only wants a couple of quid for it, I'm like, right, that's mine, put that in my basket. And I'm looking at a few of the other games, and there were a few things that sort of stood out to me a little bit. He's got prices on everything, but of course everything is negotiable as we are in a boot sale. Found this. Which is Sword Art Online. Now this is a PS4 game that I know absolutely sod all about, and it's a game that he was really, I don't know, wanted to show me a lot. I didn't really give it a second thought, to be fair, because it has the word online in it. Now, we've been through this before. I'm not a big fan of collecting physical games with the word online in it, because at some point the servers will go down and the game will be worthless. It's why I don't want to buy Hell Let Loose, because one day the servers will close and that'll be the end of the game. It'll be a relic, and I'm sure this is going to be the exact same thing. However, I don't actually know if this is online. It might just have the word online in it. I assume it's some sort of online RPG type thing. I still don't know. I'm reading it and I still don't know. Anyway, he wanted 10 quid for this, which is fine because that's pretty much what CEX charged for it, so it's on par. And of course, everything's negotiable, so I'm sure if someone went up there and said, hey, would you take 8? He'd go, yeah, whatever, and that would be it. They got it cheaper than you can get it for in CEX. He's taking 8 quid for it. I've got no idea how much he paid for this. However, this absolute bona fide legend said, take it. That's my donation to the series. You can trade it, you can sell it, you can keep it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's yours. I said no. I said, you can't. I won't allow it. I will not. He insisted? No, he didn't. He insisted, and one thing led to another. We kissed, and then he gave me this game. So now I have it, right? So what am I going to do with it? Well, I've already sold it. It's gone. 8 quid on Vinted. Why not, right? I mean, I was going to trade it. I've no interest in keeping it, right? I've absolutely zero idea what this game is, and I'm almost certain I wouldn't enjoy playing it. So I was going to trade it. CEX give me 6 quid, which is fine, for free, right? I mean, why not? I could turn that into a Xbox 360 game, for example. There are plenty still on the platform that are about a fiver that I don't own. However, I thought, well, I'll try my luck. I'll put it on Vinted for a 10 and I'll see what happens. Someone offered me 8 and I thought, well, why not? £8 cash, I paid nothing for it. I'm going to add £8 onto the cash profit. We do kind of need that now. I've been saying we don't really need the cash at the moment because we are flush. However, if I am going to be using that cash to be buying a Series X, we kind of need all the cash we can get. So that's one of the reasons why I've decided I might as well include this in the series. So £2 spent on these two, effectively. £8 going into the balance already. And then when this sells, hopefully for £8, I will add that to the overall, and then we'll be in a slightly healthier position than we were when we first started this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so. It's free and I'm on a mission to hit 100k, and if you have subscribed, go make another account, subscribe again, and if you want to try and help me hit my like target for this video, 42, that would be awesome as well. Really disappointed with the pickups that I've had recently. Not had something to physically show you for a long time that I'm genuinely excited about. I am really disappointed about the spine of that Shaq Fu game. I know a lot of people would have just bought it anyway, but 15 was probably on par with how much it actually is worth anyway. So I probably could go into CEX and buy one in slightly better condition that would look better on the shelf. Had it not had a sun-faded spine, I would have shot an offer of 12 or 13. I'm sure we would have come to some sort of deal, and I would have walked away with a Mega Drive game that I hold in very high regard. I have really fond memories of playing Shaq Fu. The one on the Switch absolutely does not compare. I still have that, incidentally. It's fine, but it's not the original. With that being said though, if my mindset stays the same by the time it comes to record the next episode, I might find myself in CEX looking through the Xbox 360 games and trying to spend some of it. I'm not going to go mad, as I said, and just spend it all in one go, unless I walk in and they have something that I absolutely have to have. And there is a Mega Drive game in my local CEX right now that I don't have, that I do kind of need to put into the collection. It's been there an awful long time. And I did consider, and I know I'm stupid, but I did consider a Sega Saturn, because I loved that console as a kid. There's only one game on it that I absolutely have to have, and it's Die Hard Arcade. I don't have enough credit to buy the Sega Saturn and Die Hard Arcade, otherwise I probably would have done by now. However, I wouldn't rule that out necessarily, but I think I want to try and flesh out some of the games that are a little bit more expensive on the platforms that I want. Let me know your thoughts of how much of an idiot I am, and that's absolutely fine, because we all change our minds. We all go through through little phases here or there, but I think I'm really honing in on what I want from my collection. It's taken me a long time to get to where I am. I went from let's collect everything to, you know, weeding out some of the things I don't really want, and I've narrowed it down to the 2 platforms that I absolutely love and that I want to collect a lot of games for: Mega Drive, Xbox 360, and I will sprinkle some PlayStation 5 and 4 over there, and eventually we'll get to that Xbox at some point. I'm not that bothered about it right now because the nostalgia, the feels of playing the Mega Drive, going after the 360 games, that's what I've been driving towards for an awful long time, and it's what I keep coming back to. It's what I keep thinking about. With that being said, if you've had better luck than I have, and let's be honest, I'm sure you have done because my luck recently has not been that great at all, let me know in the comments what you managed to find. If you've been to a boot sale, maybe you walked into a CEX and found something. If you want to check out the greatest video I personally have ever made, you can click here, and until the next time, goodbye.